Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
It's my friend is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, glad to have you here. Oh look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee?
I don't drink coffee.
You sure? It's cultist coffee.
What makes it cultist coffee?
I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it.
Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to this Wednesday edition of the Morning Grind. I realized I hadn't set up the link in advance. I've been trying to do that, trying to plan out a bit in advance and do that, but I forgot today. So I got to do that this afternoon so we know where we're going with the rest of the Morning Grind today. This is World Building Wednesday, so that means it was brought to you by World Anvil. We'll put their logo up. We always appreciate World Anvil. So, Stray, good morning, Stray, and Zero the Blade. Vision is here, and Pan Smith. So good to see everybody. So, excuse me. It is good to see everybody. We're going to be talking about building out Rabivania. I've been trying to change the way that I've been doing things around here, and I think it's only been for the worse. Actually, I was trying to really concentrate on getting some different things done and make sure that I was just trying to target what I was trying to do on a bunch of different levels. And just turns out, well, fell into some bad habits over the past week and a half. Excuse me. excuse me, that I want to be able to pull myself out of. So I guess I'm going to have to go back to the kind of things we were doing like 2 or 3 weeks ago, especially with blocking time and things like that. So time to head back to that and be accountable, because I was trying to just focus on single tasks until they're done. And you know what? That left a lot of stuff, a lot of other stuff left undone. Hey, Keith, good to see you. So that didn't work. But I did, man, I have been looking at a whole bunch of different AI stuff. I don't think we're going to talk about that so much today, but with the, we were looking at some AI generated art, and I still think that having a conversation specifically on the role of AI in art and RPG and games and things like that could be a really good idea. Could be a good topic for the morning grind, or if I can come up with somebody who would like to talk about that for the table talk, I will do that as well, because that's one of the things that I have been doing over the past week is I have been trying to follow what's been going on in AI art and AI video and everything like that. And it seems like every single day, every single morning, I have to watch new stuff because new stuff is coming out. That field is just really incredible. So I think as far as world building and things like that, that's really going to help. But man, we got to stay on top of this because, like I said, every single day, something new. It's like, oh, what kind of problem were you having? Well, here's some kind of new technology that is actually solving that. And it is coming very rapidly. So, all right, let's go to the morning messages, and then we will sip and breathe, and then we will see where we are on world building. The Morning Grind is also brought to you by the Cool Name RPG. Cool Name is being built from the ground up and doesn't rely on 5e mechanics. Support its development now on Kickstarter. The Morning Grind is also brought to you by World Anvil. Check out the World Anvil website to learn more about everything that it can do for you and your world building and your games, and also be sure to use the code MORNINGGRIND to get 40% off any annual World Anvil subscription. I knew World Anvil was great for game masters and for writers who are developing their worlds and want a beautiful site to display and manage all of that information. But what I didn't know is that World Anvil also offers extensive tools for players, including character sheets, journals, inventory management, and spell books, basically all the digital tools a player who is looking to immerse themselves in their character would need. We're going to be using World Anvil here on the Morning Grind to build out the worlds of Rabivania and Theophany, so we'll get to see it in action here as we go on the show. All right, that's it for the messages. Let's get to the main topic. All right, everybody have their favorite drink ready? I've got coffee again this morning, which is brew mug. Coffee this morning, finally. I had been out. That's another thing. Shopping, grocery shopping has gone away. So everybody got your favorite. Hey, Sable Phoenix is here. Good morning, Sable Phoenix. So let's do two deep breaths, deep inhale, complete exhale, and then take a sip of your favorite beverage this morning. Ah, feels good. Feels good. All right, good. Let's sit here and work on some world building. So I have been, I am almost done with this Tales of Rabivania world primer. Let me bring this up. And I feel like I have been for a while, almost done, but I didn't want to, I was trying to go through my tasks, other tasks, in a different order. And so I haven't gotten to finishing this one yet. There are only a few things left. I believe 3 different ones. Oh, yeah. So you can see as far as my word count goes, I only have weasels, snakes, and squirrels to go. The entries for this. Now, this is not rules. After this, we're going to have to put rules in these. But we've got weasels, snakes, and foxes to go. And I've got quite a bit of information on weasels. It took me a little bit longer to create the bestiary down here because it did make me think about some of the cultures that I haven't developed as well as the rabbits. And so that did take some more thinking. But it seems like as soon as I get these 3 done, weasels, snakes, and squirrels, knock those out, then it will be time to actually put some rules in here. And I'm kind of thinking that 5th edition rules and Pathfinder rules kind of need to be the ones that Pathfinder 2nd edition, those kind of need to be the ones that this starts with. I think both of those kind of need to get out. I was thinking a little bit in terms of GURPS, but I hadn't thought about that in great detail because I thought, hey, you know, GURPS is so detailed. I could go through and I could create all of these different species and things like that in GURPS. And then what are the GURPS stats? Once you've got the GURPS stats, convert that to something else. But that may be an unnecessary hurdle. May be able to just go for 5th edition and Pathfinder 2nd edition first. So, okay, so I was going through here. Now, I was also working with the World Anvil site, and I was trying to get it prepped for some more of this stuff to go in. And I still haven't got the first site up yet, the first page up yet. It still looks janky. But when we go over to it, I will see that you'll see that I've started to build out this structure of this whole book in World Anvil. And then anybody who is a channel member will get access to the World Book in World Anvil format. So you'll be able to have that over there. So that will be a benefit of being a channel member. If you'd like to be a channel member, also this Sunday at 4 o'clock p.m., we're going to have a special live stream for all of the channel members. And I would love to have you. We can talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. It seems like lots of people want to talk about, or have in the past on the different streams, want to talk about everyday carry or pistols or something like that. And we can talk about those topics, I think, on the private stream. I think that'd be great things to do. We can talk about other things too, but if you want to talk about those, we can have a conversation about that kind of stuff. So that's coming up. So, but okay, anyway, so I believe we had just completed classes and professions. Oh, I guess I should also say, so other great projects that are on the list, because I did get approval to begin writing the script for based on the beat sheet that I had written out for Tales of Rabivania. So that's another thing that needs time allocated to it. And so it's transitioning as far as story thinking goes, transitioning from, okay, the beat sheet to actually writing out the script. That hasn't started yet, but I've got approval, so I'm starting that. But Brianna and I started thinking about then yesterday, was we were having a meeting before Table Talk. That means that our kind of story thought, because I've worked out the story, and now it's just drafting. And I'm about to get one of Brianna's drafts. She's going to do a little bit more editing on her White Blade script and then send it to me. But there isn't a whole lot for us to discuss when the actual drafting is going. Once we got the beat sheet down, then we draft, and then it'll come back to the other person when it's actually scripted. But I did start. Oh, look. If you've been with me, you've seen stacks of index cards. So I started a new stack of index cards over here, and this one is for Theophany. So I just started saying, well, now, okay, if it's time to start, if Rabivania is moving off of the beat sheet, then one of the things I need to do is take Theophany, which is our story about the fall of Satan, and I need to start working with its index cards. And I'm excited about this because this is the third time that I have really tried in earnest to try to write Theophany, and I failed all previous times. For different reasons. And so I'm thinking that now I finally have the actual ability to write that story. So Brianna and I started talking about that, and I think it's really good. It may be more popular here on YouTube, because I realize that YouTube is a little bit older audience. So we've got Tales of Rabivania, which I'm intending for all audiences, but it's definitely a family-friendly kind of thing. But maybe when we start talking about like angels and demons and the Prince of Hell and stuff like that, people will... YouTube might the audience on YouTube might enjoy that more. But I don't think that I had the ability to write it until now. I wrote a whole bunch of Clovis stuff, the mythology for the Tales of Rabivania, and I got a big no-go on that. So it's going to have to be rewritten. So, but I'm also hoping that with sort of the AI video technology, that I'm going to be able to finally pair Rabivania and Theophany with visuals on YouTube, the way that I had always intended to, even starting years ago. I've talked before about how I failed to do that with Journey to the Tree of Sorrows, because I could write stuff, but the art took so long. Well, I think we are now flipped on that the art, now I've got to train my own models. I'm going to train my own models so it looks the way that I want it to look. But the art can be done faster. And actually, so that means that we should actually be able to do some animation. I was watching some people do some animated AI YouTube videos yesterday, or animated videos that were on YouTube, animated videos from AI, and they were exactly what I was thinking I wanted to create like 5 years ago for Journey to the Tree of Sorrows and Theophany. So I was like, oh, okay. So now we are to that point of technology where this stuff can be done. So I'm very excited about where all of this is going. Pan says, I'm creating a new dice mechanic because I'm not happy with any of them for my project. Is this RPG development? I've put my RPG a little bit on the shelf because I was like, I need that time to work on these, because like I think that for these world books, for the world primer, I'm very excited about writing the world primer for Theophany as well. Do a 10,000 word primer for that. uh, because I think a 5e and second edition Pathfinder versions of these are more important than having the Faded Edge RPG right here at the beginning. I want to get back to that. But, to me, as far as productivity goes, it's always one of those things where it's like, do you try to do, 2 hours of 4 different things during the day? That way you're moving 4 different things that you've got to do forward. Or do you do, 6 hours on one and then 2 hours trying to clean up the other? Oh, for the past several months, I've been trying to do the splitting it out by 2 hours, roughly, whatever. Over the past week and a half, I was just trying to dive into things. Didn't really work. Hey, Retro Nerd Girl. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so let's see what is going on here with as we go into religion and magic. So we had just done the professions over here. So now druidic magic right here. This is the section where the rules will go. So we're not going to have time to or the word count really to write out complex rules specifically for that magic. That's going to have to wait until a larger book. But if you're like using 5e, well, we've got druidic magic in there. We got enough words to kind of say, hey, if you're trying to represent druidic magic using the 5th edition rule set, let's put this in here. Let's say these different things, use these different things. You might want to drop these things or change these things in order to get more of the feel of the Tales of Rabivania. So that's where I'm going with that. So I've got a place to put that in. This is supposed to be 10,000 words of lore, but then 2,000, that would give me 2,500 words worth of rules. That's at least what I'm thinking. That means that the whole document would be 12,500 words. I hope that's not too many, because I'm still trying to make one of these 48-page booklets. And it's probably going to be more intense as far as words go. And I think that's fine, because as we were reading some of the 3rd edition stuff, I was like, man, this is text heavy. I was noticing that as I was showing those on the auxiliary camera, that a lot of the newer stuff has a lot more art and is not as dense as far as text goes. Maybe that's just the way things are going, and so you don't want to be too text heavy. And I understand there are things you do to make it more readable. But then I was looking at some of the older role-playing stuff, and I was like, man, there are a lot of words in here. Man, this is good stuff. This is good words. So, and being that I am a writer, so these things might be word heavy, as long as they're good words and moving things forward. So Pan says, biblical tabletop RPG called Epic of Enoch. So people have shown me a couple of those. I don't know that one. Let me look that one down, because the Book of Enoch has been highly influential in what I've been doing. Epic of Enoch. Epic of Enoch. Okay. But up here, this is our explanation of Druidism. The Druids came to the armory to bless the warriors with boughs of elm and oak from the tale of Clovis and Fearg, as written by the anchorite of Willow Grove Locked. Now, these excerpts up here, these are what was actually written, by the way. When I've spent a bunch of last year writing all of the mythology, the tale of Clovis and Fearg has been written. Now, it was bounced, so it's going to have to be rewritten. But I was like, hey, I can at least use some of these different stuff that I had written as pull quotes inside the book, because I do like having the different quotes. So like the tale of Aiden the Bear. I haven't written that one yet. Krieg and the Caproctony. That one is written from, that should be the tale of Krieg and the Caproctony, which also from the tale of Krieg and the Caproctony. Okay, so right here, so that's I believe that's actually the 3rd short story I did about Clovis. But okay, so Druidism. Ever since ancient days, the rabbits have believed spirits inhabited trees, rocks, springs, and streams, and emphasized the relationship. The rabbits have believed spirits inhabit, and I believe it should be have, and have emphasized the personal relationship rabbits can have with them. that sentence again. Ever since ancient days, the rabbits have believed spirits inhabit trees, rocks, springs, and streams, and have emphasized the personal relationship rabbits can have with them. Ever since nearly the beginning, some rabbits have been particularly attuned to the spirits and have dedicated their lives to a deep communion with them and served as guides to others who want to deepen their spiritual connections. Those rabbits become druids. According to the Druidic conceptualization, the world is inhabited by innumerable spirits. They perceive the earth as a mother goddess, with the sun and moon being greater spirits of near deity level. The stars are also spirits of great power, and the Druids believe the past and future is written in them, if one only has enough astrological knowledge to understand. Despite the personalized and decentralized nature of the Druidic religion, the Druids organize themselves hierarchically. Druids within a region, who all call a similar environment home, such as forests, swamps, or mountains, form a Druidic circle. All Druids are subordinate to the Grand Druid, or Grand Druid, as the title is often written in the most ancient of Rabivanian scripts, who is the highest-ranking Druid in the kingdom. In the mythical days before Aden, the Grand Druid crowned the Vortigern of Rabivania at Camerland Tor and was the first of the king's advisors. When Mirism came to Rabivania, the traditional title of Vortigern changed to simply the High King, and the Magus of the Mir assumed the duties of coronating the High King at Camerland Mir. The Grand Druid still retained a respected position in the Inner Council, but just as the animistic religion of the Druids has been in decline since the emergence of Mirism and the coronation of Aden the Bear as the first Mirite High King, the role of the Grand Druid has diminished over the years. Was that a very long sentence? When Mirism came to Rabivania, the traditional title of Vortigern changed to simply High King, and the Magus of the Mir assumed the duties of coronating the High King at Callan Mir. Yeah, this is not when Mirism came to Rabivania, the traditional title, yes. However, it is good to read this out loud. However, the Grand Druid still retained a respected position in the Inner Council. But just as the animistic religion of the Druids has been in decline since the emergence of Mirism and the coronation of Aden the Bear as the first Mirite High King, the role of the Grand Druid has diminished over the years. However, the Mirite clerics have not been able to excise the Druids from Rabivania life in the same way as they have been able to drive the witches underground. It is still common in Rabivania to see Druids in villages and towns and performing rites at Camerland Tor. Because of their preoccupation with the esoteric, the Druids are often regarded as being aloof to the politics of Rabivania, unaware of the meticulations of the realm and the larger concerns of the physical world. But that may not be the case. Even though their formal power in the kingdom is greatly reduced, their extensive network keeps them appraised of much of the goings-on in Rabivania, and the order is used to formulating plans over decades and even centuries. So that is our look at the Druidic religion. Why rabbits? Well, that's an interesting question. Both of these worlds, Rabivania and Theophany, are ones that I have been working on for a long, long time. Rabivania slightly longer. I believe I started Rabivania in 7th grade. The earliest stories about Rabivania date to 7th grade. I was writing other stories before then, and my grandfather was kind of encouraging me in story writing in this kind of direction. And so he said, but I was writing, stuff very much that was, elves and dwarves and kind of Tolkien-esque stuff. And he said, eventually, I want you to think of something that's completely, on your own, or, and completely something original. And I was thinking, well, God, I can't do that. I can't do that. But I did happen to have one of my stuffed animals as a kid was a stuffed rabbit. And I don't know really for what reason, but when he was saying, you ought to do something that's new, I think I saw him sitting up someplace in the bedroom again. I guess it was the bedroom or the closet or something like that. But I saw the stuffed rabbit again. And I was like, oh, yeah, I remember him. And for whatever reason, I started writing a story about him, in a medieval world. So that was kind of the genesis of Rabivania. And it has stuck with me ever since then. So it comes from a stuffed rabbit, I guess, that I got as a very young kid, like as a a baby, I suppose. I don't remember getting this stuffed animal, which I believe one of my aunts gave to me, I was told. So it obviously had an impression on me. If you want to dump mechanics in, FlexTail has all conversion charts for 5e, PF, OSR, and DCC. Really? Now, what is it? FlexTail? What is that? FlexTail, is this solo adventuring kit? The FlexTail Solo Adventuring Kit, is this what I'm supposed to be looking at? Is over 580 pages and contains more than 1,000 tools, rules, templates, and other resources that can be used for any pen and paper RPG as a solitary individual without a gaming group. You know, that's an interesting the solo idea. I've been thinking about that quite a bit, especially over the past week when I was looking at the AI things. Because, like I said, there aren't an infinite number of things that I want to exist in any of these worlds. There are certain defined things, but we've had fun with some of the solo stuff that we've been doing when we've been going through a solo adventure or something like that. And of course, we've got the freeform. We looked at the kind of the freeform RPGs that are solo stuff, like the Strider rules for the One Ring RPG. We looked at those in the morning grind, which use the oracles and things like that. I think it would be really fun to be able to give people, though, and I want to be able to give people an experience in these worlds. Okay, because I'm big on the feel of these, the feel of things and how that works. So I'm big on that side of things. Being able to give people some type of experience in these worlds, I think would be really great. One way, of course, to do that is through a traditional RPG book. I mean, one way to do that is through like a video game, but I'm not a video game programmer. Those things are huge to do. So, but an RPG book, a story is something you can do. And I was working on the stories, but I've been set back on that. But another thing you can do is do a traditional RPG book, but then you've got to have other people run the world. You got to have the group together. So I've been thinking more about different kinds of solo play RPGs that could involve other people, but something that you could do by yourself. That it would be kind of like a board game or RPG hybrid with a computer, because I haven't seen the perfect thing yet. And maybe it's out there. Maybe you guys will know exactly some type of tool I'm talking about that's out there. Because you've got the virtual tabletops, which just are basically, or many of them are like physics simulators, right? So it helps you get people around the table. Now, a lot of them will also do, the computation of all of your character sheets and things like that for you. But it doesn't really guide you through an adventure. I'm looking for something that will help you, that will guide you through an adventure. Is there some kind of platform where, that helps you? I guess a platform that helps you run basically like a solo tabletop adventure. I'm not sure if there is one. There might be. But if there's not, there needs to be. And this would be something like, what if it were something like a tool system that allowed you to run through Gloomhaven? Something like Gloomhaven, that's got this story and it's this structure, and you're going through it, and you could go through it with multiple people, but you could also go through it by yourself. I'm not sure. That's the kind of thing I've been thinking of. Maybe that was an incoherent thought. Sable Phoenix says, numerous people seem to have made rabbit-centered RPGs. Is it because of Watership Down and Redwall? Well, it could be. I can't speak to other people's motivations. Neither one of those were influences upon me. In fact, I remember having, I had several different Rabivania stories written, and then I remember going and seeing Redwall and going to the bookstore and seeing Redwall. So those, my idea had started before Redwall, but I'm sure for other people, they've been very influential. Andrew says that rabbits are fun. So FlexTail is a great resource, even if writing a book. I'm going to check that out more. So I guess I got to the right place. FlexTail Solo Adventuring Toolkit. It might help exactly what I was talking about with the need. I think we need that. I think that seems like a gap. Pan Smith says it gives mechanics to reverse engineer an idea from mysteries, adventures, quests, eccentrics. Yeah, I feel like that's a gap. I feel like I would play that because I stream some video games on the channel occasionally, but I'm not very good at it. And it seems like to me personally, most of the time, the video games that I'm least interested in are the ones where your hand-eye coordination and coming up with the pattern, like if you're just good at that kind of stuff, the rapid kind of response stuff on a video game. But I'm kind of interested in more something like running a tabletop RPG online. Now I realize they have that because I was looking at some of the NES stuff that because it does have like advanced Dungeons and Dragons. It didn't look like those games were any good, but they have them out there. John says Bunnies and Burrows definitely draw some Watership Down. Yes, I haven't played it yet, but definitely different from the usual fantasy tabletop RPG setting. I remember seeing that one, and I've read that one, especially a long time ago. I remember Bunnies and Burrows for 3rd edition GURPS. And yes, it's definitely Watership Down inspired. Those rabbits aren't as personified as mine are. Hey, let's just do one more of these while we're here. Let's go down to another religion and then see what's going on over on the other page. Oh, I was actually having trouble putting the religion into World Anvil because I was noticing that we'll check to see if this is fixed. I was noticing that when I went to add a new religion, it was adding in an organization, and I didn't want that. Or I don't know if I want that. I don't know how difficult it's going to be, or even how much it really matters. But I noticed that it was doing something a little bit weird. So we can look at this. Maybe it's fixed today, or maybe we'll have to put in some type of thing, some type of bug report or something. Okay, so this one, our pull quote is from The Tale of Dead Rabbit Pass, which was the last one that I was writing, and had just gotten to the end of it before that whole idea was bounced. It says, the witch Malka came to Clovis, who sat with Krieg and the Thanes. She scribed a circle on the ground and drew within it ruins of divination. She danced, chanted, and cast sticks charred by the fire into the circle. Then, in the flickering orange light, she read them portents of death. And that's from The Tale of Dead Rabbit Pass, as written by the anchorite of Willow Grove Locked. Witchcraft. The ancient tradition of Rabivanian witchcraft has its origin in the mystic arrival of the witch queen, called the Morrigan, and the 3 witch sisters of her court, Balb, that's Aldana, and Malka, in Rabivania, from the land of Tir Duin. Witchcraft as a religion has been passed down since that time from one witch to her apprentices, witch to apprentices. Hey, I need a good word for what is an apprentice witch. From one witch to her apprentices, witch to apprentices. Though witchcraft has largely fallen out of favor in Rabivania, local hedge witches are still sought out for herbal remedies, poultices, and potions. Sometimes even knights may have no choice but to seek out and entreat with a dark witch doe of terrible power for a solution to their quests. The witches believe there is a natural rhythm to life and try to align themselves with the natural cycles of earth, moon, and stars. They perceive time as an ever-turning wheel. Much of their rituals are centered on the phases of the moon and the changing seasons. Some attribute darker powers to them, including the them is actually the witches, not the seasons, to the witches. Some attribute darker powers to the witches, including the binding of demonic spirits, hexing other rabbits in their lands, and casting the evil eye. The witches do not have a formal organization. Instead, they have informal covens in which practitioners are privately inducted. Covens vary in number, that should be of members. Be clear. Covens vary in number of members, but the traditional number is 9 witches, sometimes led by a 10th priestess. This structure echoes the witch sisters of the Morrigan's court, plus the Morrigan herself. Covens that grow much larger than this tend to divide into 2 or 3, which may begin to grow again. Over the course of her life, a witch may have been a member of several different covens. Although witches are often perceived as dangerous renegade does on the outskirts of Rabivania, the religion has been slowly seeping back into polite society. Perhaps because of its forbidden nature, some of the Paw Maidens and even the most powerful Warrens have begun experimenting with spells and fortune-telling in their bowers, away from the prying eyes of the Loctas. Spells of love are especially popular among the maidens, hoping to capture the affections of promising young squires or handsome bachelor knights. But so are hexes to place upon those members of the court who they believe are overly strict with them. Another popular activity includes divination with cards, bones, or leaves to try to peer into the future, see their future husbands, and what fate might have in store for them and their unborn kits. Just as Mirites look down upon the witches for what they regard as a dangerous communion with demons, the witches look with equal disdain on the Mirite faith and are especially suspicious of the damsels of the royal blood. They see the damsels as a coven who will not admit to its true nature, and the Magus of the Mist as a counterfeit Morrigan. See you later, Vision. Good morning, Jason. All right, so, just make me want to be sure that Magus of the Mist. Did I say Magus of the Mirror up here? It's supposed to be Magus of the Mist. So that is our passage on the religion of witchcraft. Now, there are some others. Oh, I got mirrorism down here, but there are some others that we can include later. But like with the word constraint, constraints increase creativity because they help get stuff done. I was also thinking that maybe I should turn some of these into the YouTube videos for the Tales of Rabivania channel, because I had been thinking that some of these that I wanted to put the stories over there and the in-universe texts. These aren't in-universe texts. I mean, this part is up here. And we said that the introduction here, a call to arms, that's an in-universe text. So I definitely want to put that one out. But these are, pieces of lore, even though they're not written in-universe. They still could, I think, potentially make something pretty cool. So, especially if I can get the imagery generated for them. He did all that? Is this me? Yeah, this is me. This is one of the two worlds that we're creating here on the channel. We're creating the Tales of Rabivania, which is intended to be a family-friendly world of medieval knights, but then we are also doing a much more adult world that tells the story of the fall of Lucifer, which I'm extremely excited about. But I got to finish projects first. Let's see here. You want to do one more? Let's do one. Let's go ahead and finish religion while we're here. And then we'll go put them into World Anvil and see if World Anvil is working. So here is Mirism. So Mirism, that's the new religion. So before he was crowned, Aiden knelt before the Magus of the Mist in the waters of Callan Mir, and she baptized him in the faith of the Mother, from the tale of Aiden the Bear, as written by the anchorite of Willow Grove Locked. So Mirism. The main religion of Rabivania is Mirism, the worship of the Mother of the Mir, a beautiful rabbit doe who inhabits the lakes, rivers, and streams of Rabivania. Practitioners of this religion are called Mirites. This goddess of the water embodies goodness and purity. It is from her that the virtues of knighthood flow. The hierarchical organization of clerics that govern the faith is called the Locked. Faiths are sacred. Lakes are sacred to the Mother of the Mir, with broad lakes held in particularly high regard, though most any lake is suitable for religious service. Many services are held in the open air on the shores of a lake, but in most places, a structure is also built by the lake for worship. These sacred structures are called locts and are tended to by a cleric, known as a locta for the feminine, addressed as mother, or a loctum for the masculine, addressed as father, who is in permanent residence at the loct and is responsible for officiating worship services. Unlike the roving damsels of the royal blood, the locta and loctums take permanent vows to enter the service of the Mother of the Mir and are often specifically educated for the purpose. Areas without a body of water suitable for worship will instead have a symbolic representation of a mirror within the loct. A wide and shallow basin of silver called a mirror will be placed upon the altar. It's filled with water for a sacred. It's filled with water. Oh, this should be from a. I'm glad I'm reading this over out loud. From a sacred lake. water from Callan Mere is most prized. The Locht is hierarchically organized, with each Lochta or Lochtim answering to an Archlochta or Archlochtim in a particular area. The Archlochtas answer to one of the 4 matriarchs, the highest-ranking clerics in the Locht, who oversee all of the Locht's activities in a major region of Rabivania. Above the matriarchs is the Magus of the Mist, who is the supreme head of the Locht and the vicaress of the Mother of the Mere on Earth. She has the authority to appoint and invest the matriarchs and remove them from office if she so chooses, and is the final authority on the doctrines of Merism. Her edicts on doctrinal issues are regarded as infallible. She herself, however, is not a cleric, and she leaves much of the administration of the Locht to the matriarchs. The Mirite clerics and the witches have always had an antagonistic relationship, and recently the matriarchs have been especially aggressive in excising witchcraft from Rabivania. Over the years, the Mirites have been slowly displacing the Druids as the main counselors to the High King and other powerful rabbit nobles. When the Magus of the Mist appears in court. When the Magus of the Mist appears in court, royal or noble, her counsel is always given great weight. So that's the 3 main religions in Rabivania. We can add some more as we go on, but I think that if you're, as far as a world primer goes, if you've got the class professions of knight, druid, witch, and damsel, and you understand about these 3 religions and then our history, I think you're getting a pretty fair understanding about what Rabivania is all about. Okay, let's go over to World Anvil and see what it is that we can actually do with this. I'll show you what I've been doing over there, because I've been learning quite a bit, because like what buttons need to click in order to make certain things happen. Let me take this down. Because I know some people said they were interested in learning World Anvil, and it's got so much power. But on the other hand, I've realized that, okay, some of this stuff I don't even need. Other people might. But that some stuff I just need to skip over. Okay, so let me pull this up. Whoop, not that. Okay, so here we are over here with World Anvil again. And let's go, let's view the world. So this is how it's still sitting right now. And like I said, this is way too much text on the front page. I got to get rid of that. I was trying to figure out how to get rid of that, and I can't do that. But we need some featured articles here, because like I said, most of this is going to be protected for the channel members. But, we need like at least 3 featured articles that anybody can get to understand Rabivania. But then down here with the World Codex, see, I was trying to build out my structure that I had been using for the World Primer inside the World Codex over here. So I've got a place for player characters. So then you drop down there. Now, I don't know what's going on over here yet as far as what's actually being displayed yet. I hadn't gotten to that because not all of these are I was just working on the structure and worried about giving the permissions to the different pages. So for instance, we put in rabbit. So under sapient species, you can go to rabbit right here. And now that takes you to our full article on rabbits. So that's, our structure there, class and professions. There, now we get this drop down list of knight, druid. And see, I noticed that over here under, if I go over here to sapient species, I've got some kind of blurb here about rabbits, which I don't have for the classes yet. Knight, druid, witch, damsel. That must mean that someplace I didn't add in the right, like slug or something like that. So we're still looking for that. Religion and magic right here. So I guess that's where we're going. Knights and nobles. So what I did is I just put in, these don't have any text in them yet because they're still sitting over in my document. But knights and nobles. So we've got archbaron. I think this is out of order. This is definitely out of order. Archbaron, the nobility of Rabivania. So I got to sort all that. But that's at least all of the different entries that we're going to have. So then the gazetteer. So these locations right now, religion and magic. Okay, let's go over here because my issue was dashboard. So maybe we should just use generic article. But when I go over here to religion, I click on religion because I want to add a religion. It says organization title up here, and it says organization flag crest. And I don't think that's right because if I go to organization itself, then I get organization title and organization flag crest. But if I go to military unit, for instance, I've got military formation title, formation flag crest. So I think that there's actually some kind of bug going on right here. Because if I go to species, it tells me I get species title up here. But when I go to religion, it tells me something about the organization. And I see, I don't know how much that actually matters. Does it need to know that something's a religion? So let's just go generic article then and see what happens. Generic article title. Let's add in Druidism. And so what I was doing, so this getting all the formatting right was also something that I was having to work with, which I think is better done off of stream because I want to be sure that, it looks right there. But okay, so here, notice we got several different things here. We got draft, we've got public, and we've got work in progress. So I'm going to make this private, and I'm going to go ahead and say this is published. So I mean, like there are 3 different levels here. Like you can have a public published article that also happens to still be a work in progress. But I don't think I need to, I think by the time I move things over, it's done anyway. So like having the additional label of whether or not this is a work in progress or something, I don't really think I need. Because you can have, especially when you're talking about published. To me, if it's published, then it's done. But I suppose you can have published things that are still works in progress or works in progress or things that are done but not published yet. The flexibility here is a lot, but there's a lot of stuff that you've got to put in here. Hey, Toadstool Hollow. Welcome, welcome. Oh, Cool Name RPG is now almost to 11K. That is fantastic. That is fantastic. Nerd Girl, Retro Nerd Girl, you're trying to use World Anvil too? Oh, well, that's great. I'm interested to know what you're working on. Okay, but once I click this over to private, then I click over here and I can say Knights of the Geekverse. So that would say this is private, so it can't be seen, but the only people who can see it are the Knights of the Geekverse, which is my YouTube channel members. Now, I haven't hooked that up yet, so I haven't connected YouTube to this yet, but I was preparing all of that. So the Knights of the Geekverse will be able to check out Druidism here. So, and I'll show you how I did that in just a second. How I got it set up on this side. But now over here, also, what I got to do is I got to go over here to navigation. So under navigation, this needs to be the religion and magic. So this should... yes, I need to make sure this is set. Save changes right here. So now, let's see. I should be able to see it on this side. So religion and magic. Okay, now we've got Druidism. And here is, like I said, I got to change up that formatting right there. But there, our article is in there, and our visibility is set to Knights of the Geekverse. Okay, so now we can do that. Subscribers and authors. I'll go ahead and show that side. So if you're trying to learn what's going on here. I've got subscriber groups. And Knights of the Geekverse, that's the subscribers to the YouTube channel, which I haven't loaded in yet. We've got subscribers on YouTube, but I haven't cross-pollinated this yet. But I've got the subscriber group. So I had to create a subscriber group down here. And then there's a couple of different ways that you can add people into it. And I was very glad to see that there are 2 ways to do this. If you have like an email list of people who you want to join, you can automatically add lists of emails to a particular subscriber group and then give them access to certain articles. So you could do that if you've got certain things that you want your players in an RPG to see or something like that. Or, you can define a whole bunch of different groups. But you can also, so this is how I'm going to be able to do this. I don't know, I don't have the email addresses of the people who are subscribed on YouTube. But what you can do is you can create an access code. So I can generate an access code, like perhaps this one right here, I can then send out to YouTube, or you could use any other system that you've got. I could send this out to like a members only post on YouTube. And then when you click on that link, then you've got to have the free World Anvil account, but then that link will connect your World Anvil account to this world and give everybody access. So I think that's pretty cool. So that's how you do that. That's how it's going to end up being able to be done. So you can either manage it yourself through an email list, or you can give out an access code to have other people have access to it, which I think was the way I'll do it, but which is really nice because I was like, oh my God, if I've got to have an email list, this isn't going to work. Okay, so let's try to add. So now we have 3,120 words. We're trying to get, so there's 10,000 words of lore in that book. And I want to get 10,000 words over here into the World Anvil, although it may be a little bit less than 10,000 words once it goes into World Anvil, because you've got some words that are under headings and things like that. But let's go over here to do another generic article. And let's put in witchcraft. I've still got to figure out the formatting. I'm going to have to go back through all of these. But, okay, so now this is no longer a draft. It's published, but it's private. It's for Knights of the Geekverse. And I think there is a way to mass do that. I was looking for that. There should be a way to arrange that under one of the other tabs, where if you've got a whole bunch of different articles and you're bringing on some kind of new subscriber type, that you should be able to go through and check a whole bunch of articles. I couldn't find that the other day, but fortunately I didn't have that many articles anyway, so I was able to just go through and click Knights of the Geekverse. But as I'm making a new one, clicking over to Knights of the Geekverse is a good idea. So done, save changes, and then I want to go over to navigation and make sure this is under religion and magic. And so position and weight, I was manually moving them, but if you want to add some type of weight, then I suppose it will organize your table of contents according to the weight that you've assigned. So if you've got tons and tons of articles, I guess that's useful. But I think it's a bit more than I need at the moment. All right, so let's go back to the dashboard, and let's do this one more time from Mirism. And I haven't got the linking down. Of course, the other thing to do is to be able to link these things back and forth to one another. But I believe it has an auto-linking feature we should be able to use, so I won't have to go through it. So any type of instance of a particular word will be able to link you to that article. So I hope to be able to do that in an auto-linking way soon. Let's do a generic article. Let's put in Mirism. Let's see here. There we go. Not a draft. Private. Knights of the Geekverse. Done. Save. Navigation. Religion and magic. So that should be it. Now I don't like. Oh, let's see if we can fix this. Fix this over here. When we go to religion and magic, there, druidism, mirism, and witchcraft. So under navigation, I have to remember how to do this again. So do I adjust it over here? No, maybe over here. So here are my categories. Oh, view world. Oh, no, right over here. So now I need to drop Gazetteer down. So under articles, I've got categories over here, and I've got all of my articles by type as well. Although it really would be nice to have my religions under the religion type, but it didn't seem like religions was working. So under generic, I've got those three. So you can get to your different articles by type. That's nice. And then list over here. And I want to say, so if you were trying to find exactly what articles were work in progress. Now, one thing I did notice that was doing that I don't like is that it's trying to, every time, like when I clicked all of those article types, it created a whole bunch of untitled organization and untitled species and untitled organization every time I was clicking that. And I didn't like that. So it will create a whole bunch of junk articles for you. You know, if you don't do anything with it, it still saves it. So all of these are still works in progress because they have not been moved over yet. But I think it's still going to create a really nice page. What do you think? David Sims says, just wanted to say thanks. I started to follow you due to the OGL debacle, but your streams of this sort of thing has inspired me to go back to a system setting I made but haven't touched in 10 or 12 years. Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm so happy about that. Thank you so much, David. That was part of the reason. That's part of the reasons that I want to do this. Definitely. I wanted to do it because I needed to, get off my butt and get back in action as far as getting all kinds of, because I got so many projects I could get done. And so I thought, is there some way to do these kind of live on stream that might give me a time, and I got to be on stream and I got to be doing things and making things happen and showing things off and making progress. But then also, if it inspires other people to do it, hey, that's part of being constructive here in the Geekverse. And so I'm really glad to hear that. I really appreciate that, David. Thank you for letting me know. Makes me feel good it's not out here. Mike says, need an administrative assistant. Yeah, I really do. And I thought I was going to have one. I thought I had somebody interested in coming down, actually, and helping me out. This was a few weeks ago. But she ended up getting what she actually called her dream job. She was offered her dream job. So I was like, oh, well, take that. So that was fantastic on her part. But now it would be she got something else. So now I'm not sure what I'm going to do, because yes, there is actually more work to do over here and getting stuff done than I can do myself. We will see. Yeah, we need to talk more about big rocks and productivity. Maybe we need to actually start that again tomorrow, because I want to get back to that, because my world has fallen apart here in the past week. So I can't let that happen anymore. Okay, so what else do we need to say over here? Well, so I guess as far as what I was going to say about what I'm doing over here, I'm getting increasingly excited about these worlds. And I think that I'm finally in a position where I can actually do them, and they're going to be of high quality, and especially the storytelling. Because Theophany, I'm especially interested in Rabivania as well. But when I was going over and I was starting to go through all of my index cards for the world of Theophany, I was going, I think this one's really good. I think that Theophany is one that, I wanted to do Rabivania for longer. I started Rabivania, like I said, in 7th grade. I probably started the idea for Theophany in about 10th grade. And even writing Theophany, we've talked about issues with like Dungeons and Dragons in the household when I was a kid and things like that. Well, writing a story about the fall of Satan and the demons of hell was also not something that was really really well looked upon by members of the house. But as I was starting to write out some of the index cards for this, I think I'm finally going to be able to do it. And I think that world is also going to be really incredible. And I think a lot of people probably are going to be interested in it. And especially here on YouTube, maybe more so than the anthropomorphic rabbits. But hey, I'm doing both. So that's what's happening. I guess that's it. We've been going for about an hour here. So I really appreciate your joining me today. We got to come up with a subject for tomorrow. We may be back on a Book of Vile Darkness tomorrow. We're still going through the Book of Vile Darkness. Those have generated some absolutely fantastic conversations here. So might do Book of Vile Darkness tomorrow. We do some more Starfinder. I'm still interested in getting into Starfinder. I kind of do wish that it had starship rules in the basic in the beginner set. That was a bit of a disappointment. But there's still more Starfinder to go through, and there's still Books of Vile Darkness to go through. I did get the Pathfinder second edition book, or not second edition, it's the Pathfinder book for what's the name of it? Savage Worlds. Savage Worlds. So I've got that too. For some reason, Savage Worlds does not stick with me, but I picked up Savage Finder. Savage Finder. That would be a good word for it. The Pathfinder for Savage Worlds, and also actually I got this one as well. We looked at the index card RPG before, but I picked up the this is actually the physical master index card here, RPG physical book. So I've got that as well. I'm looking forward to playing this one soon online. I've been making a character, and so we can look at it soon too. Sable Phoenix says, I always love different takes on angels and demons. I've been thinking of hacking Troll Babe into an angel or demon focused game. You know, it's been a long time since I have read Inomine, and we should look at that on this channel as well. We need to look at Inomine soon. Theophany doesn't have anything to do with modern day. There's modern day stuff in Inomine, right? Theophany doesn't have any modern day stuff in it. Burrows and Badgers. Oh, it's a skirmish game? Burrows and Badgers is a skirmish game? I want to do one of those as well. Love Savage World, Sable Phoenix says. Terrence is stupid, says, I just started a Starfinder game on Sunday. Lots to learn. All right. Well, I think that is about it. I've still got lots and lots to do. But if you're looking for other things to watch, I would appreciate it if you would watch other things here on the YouTube channel. We've got hundreds of videos here. If you haven't seen The Cultist, please check out The Cultist. That's our video. It's our comedy web show about modern-day Lovecraftian cultists who are just trying to worship Cthulhu in a world full of people who don't understand. So check out The Cultist. We've got after parties with the cast and crew. We've got dinner and a board game shows. Man, we got tons of stuff. So have a great day. Everybody be productive and grind on.